All right, here we go. And something I should have made more explicit in that last video, and I kind of just jumped to it and started going rather than talking through why we did it, is notice that we can figure out tangent of um, 4/3 pi. That's something we can figure out. However, pi over 12, we don't know that for tangent. This isn't something we don't know what it is. And so because of that, we had to work our way backwards from this problem to get to um, something we did know, figure out, hey, we actually do know what 5/4 pi is, and we could deal with that one for tangent. Now, on this one here, in the last video, you notice I started to head into the problem of working our way backwards, and we could do that, but we don't need to do that here. And actually, if we did work our way backwards, I don't know that we would get to an angle that would be useful at all. We'd probably have to break it down into these pieces as well. But we do know what 3 pi over 4 is for tangent, and we do know what pi over 3 is for tangent. So we can just evaluate this one as it is. So this all equals well, tangent of 3/4 pi, that's going to be, so 3/4, there we are. Tangent is going to be -1. So -1 minus, now tangent of pi over 3, that's here in our first quadrant. And our sides are going to be 1/2 and the square root of 3 over 2. So opposite over adjacent, and we get the square root of 3, so minus the square root of 3, over 1 plus the tangent of 3/4 we just talked about was -1, and tangent of pi over 3 is the square root of 3. All right. Continue on. We got 1 minus the square root of 3, or sorry, -1 minus the square root of 3 over 1 plus, or rather minus the square root of 3. 1 minus the square root of 3. And we're off to rationalizing our denominator again by using the conjugate. So we're going to have 1 plus the square root of 3 multiplied by, on the top and the bottom, 1 plus the square root of 3. That gives us in the numerator, or sorry, in the denominator, that'll give us 1 minus 3. In the numerator, that's going to be, let's see, -1 minus the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3 and minus 3. Clean that all up, and that'll be equal to, well, what's -1 minus 3? That's -4, and negative root 3 minus root 3 is minus 2 root 3, all over 1 minus 3 is -2. Factor out our -2, and we get factor out -2 out of the numerator and divide both the top and the bottom by -2, and we end up with 2 plus the square root of 3 as our answer. All right, and last one for the lesson. Here we go. Cotangent of 7 pi over 12, and we don't know anything in 12ths, and that's why we've got to break this up. If it was a problem that was 7/3 or something like that we were able to evaluate, you could just go ahead and evaluate it. You wouldn't need to break it up, but we don't know it. Notice also that this one's cotangent, and so we're going to be using that cotangent formula, which is the reciprocal of the tangent one. So how can we write 7/12 in terms of angles that we do know? Well, this is going to be equal to the cotangent, not cosine, cotangent of, let's see, 7. So that's going to be, let's do 3/12 pi, that'll be 1/4, we know that one, plus 4/12 pi, and that'll be 1/3, and we know that one as well. So this is equal to, and let's go ahead and write it in its angles that we're more familiar with. So the cotangent of 1/4 pi plus 1/3 pi. All right, and so that's going to be the tangent of alpha in our denominator, so tangent of 1/4 pi, plus the tangent of beta, so 1/3 pi. That'll all be in our denominator this time around. In our numerator, we're going to have 1 minus tangent of alpha, so tangent of 1/4 pi, times tangent of beta, so tangent of 1/3 pi. All right. Plugging in everything we know. Tangent of 1/4 pi is going to be 1. So we have 1 minus 1 times, and tangent of 1/3 pi, so here's our reference angle. 1/3 gives us square root of 3 over 2 as our sine, 1/2 as our cosine, and ends up being the square root of 3 for tangent. So that's our numerator. Our denominator, tangent of 1/4, we said is 1, and then plus tangent of 1/3 pi, we just said it was the square root of 3, so plus the square root of 3. And cleaning that up just a little bit, we've got 1 minus the square root of 3 over 1 plus the square root of 3. And same drill right here, multiply by the conjugate. So 1 minus the square root of 3 over 1 minus the square root of 3. That gives us 1 minus 2 root 3 minus 3. Oh, sorry, plus 3. Plus 3 over 1 minus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4, so 4 minus 2 root 3 over negative 2. And our final answer is going to be negative 2 plus the square root of 3. Key part here, and they made this one different than the others, is making sure that you remember this is the reciprocal of the tangent formula. This is just the reciprocal of the tangent formula we learned earlier. Rather than memorizing a whole new formula or getting freaked out that it says cotangent, it's just the reciprocal. We already know it. So we just took our pieces that were in the numerator, placed them in the denominator. Stuff that was in the denominator came on up to the numerator. So hope that helps, and see you next lesson.